All right, good morning, guys. Today is Monday, usually a pretty good trading day. Um, trying out a bit of new stuff today. So basically, what we're gonna be doing is keeping an eye on two charts. All right, I have yet to try this, but one thing I've learned about the market is there's very limited opportunity, pretty much every day. So I'm gonna give this a shot. I don't expect it to go, you know, swimmingly. I know that working with more than one chart can kind of get a little confusing, so, but we're gonna give it a good go, and you know, whatever happens, happens. So let's take a look at our charts here. I'll go ahead and start with the euro. I'll get my footprint up and see what kind of volume we are working with for the day. Relatively low. We're still at 8:49 a.m. Um, yeah, relatively low for a Monday. I'll show you. Kind of low, right? But keep in mind, I know I always say this, but everything is relative. So this actually looks like something fairly good that's going on here. We've got this little bracketing happening, and we're coming right up to the edge. But unfortunately, it's too early to trade. I just sat down, so uh, that's what's going on with our footprint. Let's take a look at our price action here. Still doing this funky thing on the daily. Um, Let me see how I feel about my lines. It looks like I got a daily line where this candle, where they had a strong rejection here, which is pretty fair, and then uh, we kind of got this zone right here that's been bouncing a little bit. And if you look, we got this candle that pushed to the bottom, and then actually made a pretty strong comeback. That's actually coming off my 30-minute time because that's a blue line, but here's my other daily just where the price bottomed out. So I'm content with that. Double check my 30. I just have this line drawn where I got that strong push to the upside. I think I'm okay with that too. All right, let's look at our 5-minute. Okay. All right. So we're kind of working within the range of really these two right here. There's a good chance that this price could continue pushing up to this point and then do something cool. So we will keep an eye on that today. All right, let's switch over to our dollar yen. When I first started trading, I really liked this pair, and now that I've learned a little bit more, I find that it's actually kind of spontaneous, which can be a good or bad thing, obviously. So again, see how it goes. We're dealing with more volume on the yen than we are the euro. However, I will say I'm not familiar with the yen chart. We kind of got some volume here that looks like the euro, but looks higher than the euro today. So probably keep a eye on this chart for something more like a breakout. Even though it's Monday morning, they can both break out. So that's what's going on with my footprint. Um, Bear with me. Okay. Now on my price chart, let's take a look at our daily. All right. So it looks like I like this line. This definitely makes sense here. We got this strong push to the up that kind of goes into a one time framing mode. Actually, kind of started down here, actually, didn't it? Yeah, but we had this strong momentum candle. I'm gonna let that line stay there, especially because we bounced off it over here. So as soon as we hit that low, uh, it responded. So, up here, we kind of had an area, my eyes are cheap. We kind of had an area where the price was not doing a whole lot, kind of fizzled off from this whole run. And we got a strong push right here, right? And then the buyers kind of made a little attempt and got up to this line that I drew and, I mean, got shoved down aggressively. That's an aggressive candle for a daily candle, so I'm definitely good with those two lines. Let's take a look at our 30-minute. Okay. So it looks like they just have a blue line here where price pushed up pretty hard. I'm actually going to add another 30-minute line to this area where it became exhausted. All right. That's where it became exhausted. You can see we kind of had a, what do you call it? Almost, I'm not saying exactly, but almost like a head and shoulders pattern here, or a triple top, whatever you want to call it. The price tried multiple times, failed. I think this is on its way down. Uh, yeah, so take a look at the 5-minute. I think we were trending. Yep, starting to see some moves to the downside. However, we do want to take note that this was a pretty successful bounce right here. So this is an area of interest. All right. So as far as what we want to do, probably gonna keep more of an eye on the yen right now. That's just because I think that it's actually made a move outside of a consolidation or bracket, whatever you want to call it, and euro's kind of in the middle of that right now. I think that this will turn into some accumulation here pretty soon, but for the meantime, deciding. It's deciding what it wants to do. So let's take a look at this again. And I'm kind of surprised that this isn't bouncing here. All right, if I don't see some sell action going on here, then I'm gonna want in on this trade, and I'm probably gonna do it with a little bit of confidence, maybe two lots. If I look at my footprint, I am seeing buyers step up to the plate in this area, and this is a high volume area. So that's another really good reason that if it can break through this area, man, we're definitely looking for a short. Okay. So I definitely have some other things to do today, and I want to give that my attention, but I'm actually pretty fond of what's going on here. So let's hang tight and keep an eye on this. I'm looking to come in for a short right here. I just need to see some initiative, or I might even settle for some liquidity. Yeah. It's not like this trend has been going on for a super long time, but if you do make a horizontal trend line, it actually broke outside of it, which is pretty good. I think that I'm going to try to anticipate this trade. Just have a tight stop loss. I don't see very high volume. My delta is actually in the buyer's favor. I would like to, but I don't have a whole lot of much supporting it. See on the footprint, really, it's just been filling in that imbalance on that big green candle there. I mean, it really textbook filled it in. So this could be kind of one of those delta unwind situations going on where it just kind of came back for the money, and whoever took it up is still got a position to play. It's entirely possible. But I'm really not so enthused about the buyer's inability to bounce here. You know, I'm starting to see some sell action come in for sure. Starting to see kind of like the buyers backing off a little bit. I'm going to enter this trade at this position. I'm going to bring a stop loss. I'd say right about here, my trade would be considered invalid. All right. So knowing my footprint, uh, it looks like if I can break to the downside, I've still got some volume to get through right initially. But if it can pass this volume that it's coming up on right now, I think we're going to move. Although, with that being said, there's not a whole lot of volume supporting it, so maybe not. The low volume is definitely not a good thing. All right, I'll tell you that right now, because I'm kind of looking for a heavy move here, and it's not super likely to get it just because I don't really have the backing for it. And well, I'll tell you what, I'm definitely outnumbered by the buyers here when you look at my delta. Definitely getting some resistance in that volume of, or in that area of volume that we were talking about. That's for sure. Yeah. Let's just set a quick take profit right here, and I'm going to switch over and check on my euro and see how that's doing. So that's still bracketing. I think this would actually even be a reasonable place to get a short if the footprint supported it, which it does. And it would provide for a good opportunity to have a really tight stop loss too. Let's go ahead and push that one in as well. These are some seriously anticipated trades, guys. So we can make it past that point, then it deserves my money. Still low volume. Let's check on our yen. Oh, looks like it's just about to hit our take profit, so I want to look at my footprint and see if there's any reason for me to get out, which there is. There's some buyers coming in. Okay. Yeah, we're out of this one. On our footprint, we're just nothing but buys. Okay, so that's why I went ahead and got out of that trade. I did get out of it for a small profit. So that's good. Let's leave that one alone for a little bit. Now our euro is starting to kind of do what I was hoping for. So it's running into liquidity, which is, it's got buyers on the top, sellers on the bottom. I mean, that's what's going on. So we're kind of basing this trade a little bit more on price action than anything, but still a good trade. Okay, and I'm definitely still seeing some uh back and forth. You know, sellers are in the game, so I'm still okay with this one. Um, yeah, not bad, not bad. as long as I don't see any major buys coming in, I'm gonna hold this one till the neckline. Okay, I am starting to see my volume pick up. My delta is not in my favor, so that's something to keep note of. But it really only means so much. It really does. I'm running into a pocket now, pocket of previous buyers, and I'm kind of watching to see if they're still going to defend that position or not. There's a little bit of evidence to support that they will, but there's also, it's almost like it's a ratio, and the sellers are kind of coming in and matching their effort, if not exceeding it, or surpassing it. They're hitting market orders. I see this is pushing to the up a little bit, but as of right now, I'm not really buying it. Even if it does move up, I think that it's got a ways to go. And right here where I entered this trade is a pretty heavy pocket, and so I think that even if it does move up, we're looking at getting stuck here. And keep in mind, guys, this is a $90 trade that we're risking, so still getting some sellers moving in. We have a positive price reaction, but my delta did switch to the sell side. Looking for that push to the neckline, right back to that VWAP almost. I wouldn't, I wouldn't keep the trade in these high frequency areas right here because that's a little bit too risky. But I will come to the bottom of this candle. I will. There it goes. There it goes. I'm looking for some resistance here. Now, we're not, super high volume, so we're not expected to be hyperbolic or anything like that. But we're coming up on I think I have a 50 moving average here on my Sierra chart. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Yeah, getting a little bit of resistance at that moving average. And I'm starting to see, right at that moving average is a pretty relatively high volume area too. I've almost seen enough with this one, even though I'm still fairly confident in the trade. I gotta do what I gotta do. All right, we're out. So not bad. That's about a profit of 170 bucks. I'm cool with that. That's my guitar stuff. I still have some other stuff to work on today, so let's let that soak in a little bit, and we'll come back to the charts maybe when we get a little bit more volume going on. Okay. All right.